Hi, Vivian. Nice to meet you.
I will.
Congrats on the parenting. I loved your character. Loved the
Thank
movie.
you.
And Sarah, so this movie, I'm watching it, it already has comedic momentum. And then, Sarah swoops in and adds a sort of extra comic relief
She is
to the,
extra. Extra
yeah,
is a good way to describe Sarah. Everybody needs that extra friend.
I agree. I agree. And could you talk about how she sort of, hilariously creates this sort of unromantic love triangle between Josh and Rohan and maybe if that's what appealed to you about the character when you were first joining or if something else sort of drew you to the role.
I actually read a New York Times article about the third person in a romantic relationship where a lot of people, they don't feel comfortable being in being in a romantic intimate relationship is like too much for them, but they'll be that third person in the love relationship. And so yeah, there's a little I think there's a lot of that and I think that's also why she invites herself to this party, to this family, even though she wasn't invited. It's like, no, I have to be here. I'm part of this. So I love that she's kind of like demanding this space for herself and yeah, that she assumes that there's got to be a room for her at this house. Like, of course. Um, that kind of fearlessness is something that I wish I had more of, but I have like too many boundaries.
It's all good. And I mean, yeah, it's quite an ensemble. I mean, there's Brandon and Nick, and then of course,
Lisa, Parker Posey,
yeah,
who I adore, and like Edie Falco. I mean, all these legends that I grew up watching, like I grew up with them. And so, yeah, just being part of like, I remember shooting at the table and we're all at this family meal. And even though there's demons and stuff going on, it's still like, wow, I'm at this table. I want to belong to this family,
yeah,
even with demons.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, and I mean, yeah, you steal basically every scene that you're in, so it's
Aw.
it's great. I
I
would
was
love to,
literally like hyped because I'm like, I'm working with the best. I gotta bring my A game.
yeah, yeah,
No, I just meant that it was like very elevated because I'm, such a mega cast of talent.
yeah, yeah, I can imagine. I can only imagine. And I also loved your performance in Always Be My Maybe,
Oh, yeah, that also didn't take much because, like, I mean, if you're in the presence of Keanu,
yeah,
it doesn't take much. You're just
right.
gotta fan out.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife and I love that movie. And I was curious, I mean, has anyone ever like in that circle brought up the idea of a sequel or a spin-off to that? Because I
Of
mean, a lot of
Jenny and
people,
Keanu.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Sure. Well, we'd love to do that. I'll ask
yeah,
him. I'll call him. I'll call him right now.
yeah.
Yo, Keanu, want to do a romantic comedy with me? Why
Hey, I
not?
mean, he seemed pretty game the first time around, so who knows?
Yeah, I feel like this film is just as, funny,
Oh
if
yeah,
not like scary. And actually this film, like doing this kind of horror genre is like the first time I've ever worked in a horror. So because yeah, like Always Be My Maybe, like romantic comedy is my jam. I love like comedy because I think it's like, human beings are so funny just by being ourselves.
yeah,
But yeah, horror was something that I wasn't, yeah, like I didn't know how if I could do it. And I just thought this film, like the tone of the comedy horror, like they really pulled it off and did a good job because, it's not comedy, it's not horror, it's like
right.
horror comedy. And when I was reading the script, I'm like, how are they gonna, what is this? How is this gonna work?
Do you have, I mean, uh, just being like a fan of movies and TV shows, I mean, do you have any horror movies or scary movies that you've been a fan of over the years
Oh
that
my God, I love horror genre, period. I don't know as many horror comedies. Like,
right,
this kind of tone is so special, but like Possession is one of my
right.
favorite movies of all times. It's like the best film about marriage, I
Yeah.
think. Like Suspiria, of course. Like, but then also like the campy one, the Halloween Scream, all those like Poltergeist. I mean, yeah, I think all those film like using horror, it's such a visceral impact. It like leaves you with this imprint like immediately, you know, even movies in general do that, but then like that kind of viscerality adds like this other, yeah, you're not gonna forget being like traumatized or
Yeah.
scared. And I thought, yeah, I actually thought a lot about Possession when we were filming this and just kind of like the surrealist kind of quality and how you can still make something really real but have, you know, have that kind of comedy, you know. Like I think Get Out is another really good mixed genre
Oh
film
yeah.
that really that kind of like social satire, you know. And I think our film too, it's like such a social satire of like, you know, yeah, we're not going to have hate in this country.
Right.
Um, we the people, as different as we are gonna come together.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, yeah, that's all very interesting. So and I'm a fan of those as well. So so great. And but yeah, congratulations again. That's all the time I have. I can't wait for everyone else to see the parenting. So thanks again for chatting.
Thank you so much, Will.
Thanks. Take care.